Get off.
So this part right here isn't really anything fancy. I'm just cooking bacon. There's really nothing too terribly interesting about it. I'm using high heat, which is why you see me flipping it so often. You might feel like more often than when your parents cook. Just because of the fact that I'm sauteing the onions, which in itself takes about half an hour. So I try to speed up the process as much as I can. Oh. Temporarily. Okay, now that is the bacon being done ish. Take the heat off because you don't want to leave bacon grease just cooking. That's the recipe for fire. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've turned the heat on medium. Like I said, I've taken the bacon grease off the heat. It's not a good idea to just leave grease burning, because that's how you start kitchen fires. So, now's the fun part. Now I'm gonna saute the onions. Sorry you can't see my face. A little less than half a stick of butter is what I use. Now, the heat's still on. I let the butter melt. Swirl it all around there. The way that I saute onions is I leave that bacon grease in there for flavor. And later on, your Aunt Jess makes some killer dishes using the onions that I've sauteed. And like I said, she's the best chef in the world. Best food I've ever had in my entire life. So it is a privilege and an honor to be able to prep things such as sauteed onions for her, because I know that the one that really wins out of the deal is me, because I get to enjoy her cooking. So, like I said, I'm just melting all the butter and it's mixing with all that bacon grease. I wait until it's completely melted. And you'll notice, if you look really close, you can see little pieces of bacon bits and all that other stuff. That all adds to my own individual flavor of my sauteed onions. And it's just out of this world insane. Temporarily taking it off the heat again now that the butter is melted. Okay. Now, so what I do is, temporarily not making things yet. Alright. So, here's the sliced onions that I prepped earlier. Just gonna put it all in there. Out of there. And your Aunt Jess and I, we love spicy dishes. So, like I said, this is sliced habaneros that I prepped earlier. I'm going to go ahead and mix that all up in there. So before I put it back on the heat, I'm going to go ahead and mix everything up in there. And the mixture of the butter and bacon grease, I'm going to get it all worked up in there. Nice and coated. You'll see better when I put it on the main burner. Right now I'm just really making sure everything gets a nice coat to it. Oh man, that looks good. Oh yeah. Cool. Like I said, this is my own personal style. Your family might do things a little differently. I like to work with high heat, so alright, well, that's good enough. So, now I'm going to put it right back on the heat. And because I use the high heat, I stay on it. I don't let it sit by itself for too terribly long. And generally, when you saute onions by themselves, you want to just saute them until the onions have a nice translucent look to it. You can actually see through the onions. Because I'm mixing the butter and the bacon grease, it's kind of a combination of cooking along with the sauteing, so you will see some the onions turn a little brownish in some parts. That's the way that sliced onions look after they've been cooked a little bit. And you'll see when we get to that part what that looks like. Yeah, when it comes to food, everybody has got their own thing. My wife, your Aunt Jess, and I, we love spicy food. And also, I jokingly call myself a meatitarian. I absolutely love meat in all forms. I don't discriminate. And I love seafood. It's very unfortunate that you can't smell this through the video. This smells absolutely incredible. As the habaneros are cooking, it gives it a very garden fresh smell to it. It smells like it was literally hand-picked out of the garden, which is just incredible. We live in an apartment, so we don't have one of the luxuries of having our own plants and harvesting our own hot peppers. So I have to say, our local grocery store did really good. These smell very fresh. Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, so there's not really much else to describe at this point. You'll just see me flipping it around, making sure that it's evenly being sauteed. I have it on medium-high heat. Like butter. So, since I don't have anything else to describe currently, as far as what I'm doing, I'm just going to talk to you guys real quick about why I'm making this video and why you will see all the other videos that I post online. I've created a YouTube channel just for you guys so that I can stay connected with you. Your parents are extremely smart, much more so than I am, but I do know a thing or two about a thing or two. And the most important things in life are, number one, God. Number two, family. Nothing else matters. Everything else is just a very fleeting thing. So, with that in mind, whenever you see me in person and your Aunt Jess, I want you to be very familiar with who we are. Because we are your family, and we love you. And we might live in different states, sometimes different countries. So the best way for us to stay in touch is by video chatting and by things like this. I will make YouTube videos for you guys just so you can see what I'm up to, see this kind of stuff that I'm in. Some of it you might be into, some of it not so much. And that's cool. You can fast forward, you can not watch videos. But the point is, it's there if you want it. It's there just so you can see a little bit about your Aunt Jess and I. And in that way, we will be connected. Because like I said, the only things in life that matters are God, most importantly, but also family. And family is what you have to help you through the hard times in life. If you have brothers and sisters, be sure to spend your childhood becoming best friends with them. Absolute best friends with them, because they, along with your parents, are what will get you through the tough times. I really wish you guys could jump through this video and smell this. This is absolutely incredible. So, in no way, shape, or form am I like any kind of master cook or anything. Matter of fact, what I just realized is I forgot to set the timer, which is fine. I'm going to cook this by sight, meaning whenever it looks right to me, that's when I'll pull it off the heat. I'll let this sit for a minute. We're not really trying to cook this per se, but some of it will inevitably be cooked, and that's fine. That's all kind of process of how I do all this. Either when you're prepping hot peppers, if you get into it, for some reason you find yourself liking spicy foods as you get older, when you prep it, be careful to wash your hands afterwards. And when you cook it, all this vapor can be very hot. Eye-watering, etc. It's not so much for me because I'm a year and some change away from 40 years old, and I'm kind of desensitized after all these years. Because as far as food and eating goes, it's always been my lifestyle. So you eventually, on a long enough timeline, just kind of develop an immunity, more or less. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, like I said, we're kind of going for a translucent look. Some of it here. Well, alright, it's getting there. I don't know how well you can see that. It's getting there. But there's also some bigger pieces like this that have yet to go, so I don't know if that's showing up for you guys. So I'm still going. Some of it's cooking. Which is all part of it. Oh my goodness. I think my wife will fall in love with me all over again when she eats this. Oh yeah. Actually, this is a really good example right here. One second. See how that's browned a little bit? You don't want to let it get too brown, but that's about right for our style. So here, probably in 5 minutes or less, I will say that it's been cooked enough, and then I'll go to the next step. So, like I said, I love spicy foods. I don't discriminate. I love all hot peppers, but my favorite is the habanero. The flavor is my favorite. It smells so good. Okay, more or less this looks good to my eye, so we're going to turn down the heat temporarily. We are done. Taking it off the heat. So, what I do is these are now done. Obviously, I'm not going to add all of this It's the eggs that I'm about to make your Aunt Jess. This is saved later for her, so she can put it in the dishes that she makes. And I will be using a good bit of it, but not all this, for the breakfast that I'm about to make her. There's not much to look at. I'm just scraping it out. Okay. One second, I'll be back with you guys. Alright. Okay. So this is the finished product right here. This is sauteed onions and habanero peppers. So, setting this aside just for right now. Now, I'm going to be making eggs. So, everything's already ready with the pan. All I'm doing right now is adding the eggs. Now the flavors from me both cooking the bacon and prepping all those onions and habaneros, all that still is left in the bottom of the pan, which is why I intentionally leave it alone and just throw the eggs in there. All that flavor is getting mixed all up into the eggs. Like so. Then I'm going to add just a handful of cheese. You can pick whatever cheese you want. Cheese I'm using right now is mozzarella. And then, from what I just made, the sauteed onions and habaneros, I'm gonna put not too much, but a good healthy serving of all that in there. Yeah. So you don't want to put so much that your eggs are crunchy. Crunchy eggs don't sound too appetizing to me, at least. And then I'm going to mix all that up in the eggs. Like I said, I use high heat. I'm going to put it back on right now. So the eggs cook very fast. And then I'll just put it on the heat. And eggs are pretty much extremely easy, at least when you're making scrambled eggs. You just as it's cooking, with whatever ingredients you put in there, you just kind of watch it and keep stirring until it gets to the consistency that you like. We don't like dry eggs. We still like it a little moist at the end. So I pay attention to that and stop it and take it off the heat right when it gets to be the consistency that we like. One thing that also helps in that regards is the bacon grease that I use helps keep it from getting too dry. So it's a little easier to manage with the high heat that I use. I am in no way, shape, or form a professional cook, but I think your Aunt Jess will be very impressed with this.